ABC WTVA, Tupelo, Columbus.
Right now at 10, it took more than 5 hours and 50 miles to stop the flight of terror over North Mississippi.
I just think that it's crazy, especially in small town Reaper.
Don't really understand it. Don't understand why somebody tries to steal a plane.
And it all ended in a deserted field where a man stole a plane from a local airport and threatened to crash it at a local Walmart. We got full team coverage on today's incident coming your way.
This is a serious thing. We don't know what's going to go on. We don't know if we're going to crash.
And there he is right over there.
The possible crash scaring folks who live near or far from the area. We'll hear from them in just a minute.
You don't think things like that happen in this part of the country, but it can happen anywhere. So, especially on our property, you just don't dream of it.
And imagine the plane landing in your own field. Got an exclusive interview with the landowner.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WTVA 9 News.
Thanks for making WTVA 9 News at 10 your choice for news. I'm Michelle Martin.
I advised that they had the subject at gunpoint.
It was a terrifying morning across northern Mississippi. A man from Shannon is behind bars for hours after law enforcement say he stole a twin-engine plane from the Tupelo Regional Airport and threatened to crash it into a local Walmart. The theft and the threat grabbed national attention, and we've been following it from the very beginning. We have team coverage tonight. WTVA's Bronson Woodruff is first out, got word of what happened, and was the first reporter there when the plane landed in Tupelo County. But first, we go live to WTVA's Ethan Foster, who heard firsthand from police about the terror in the skies they dealt with. Ethan.
Well, guys, it's been a long day at the station, and that's because this plane theft story, it all started early this morning here at the Tupelo Regional Airport, here at the main terminal, standing out where it all started this morning. You heard Corey Patterson stole a plane this morning, and then later this morning before noon, that plane crashed in an abandoned field. Now, we learned a lot of details at a press conference at the Tupelo Police Department today at noon. Here's a look at what we found out.
We are prepared for this situation, I think, as anybody could have been.
That situation involved Corey Patterson, an employee at Tupelo Aviation responsible for fueling aircraft. He's been employed there for the last 10 years.
At 5:08 a.m. this morning, Corey Wayne Patterson stole a Beechcraft King Air C-90 twin-engine aircraft and took off from the Tupelo Airport.
Police say the plane Patterson stole was fully fueled the night before, and it was about 20 minutes into his flight that Patterson made a disturbing phone call.
At approximately 5:23 a.m., Patterson from the aircraft calls Lee County 911 to tell them that he is going to crash this aircraft into the West Main Walmart.
Police officers and firefighters evacuated the Walmart and the surrounding area and shut down a number of major streets. About 4 hours later, Patterson posted to his Facebook, which has since been suspended.
At approximately 9:32, the pilot posted on Facebook a message, and in essence it said goodbye. At this time, we know he was getting close to running out of fuel.
30 minutes later, Patterson's flight tracker signal disappeared.
At 10:08 a.m., FAA lost radar contact with the aircraft. At 10:12 a.m., our negotiator reestablished contact with the pilot. The pilot confirmed he had landed in a field and he was uninjured.
Now, the latest on this that we know so far is that the Tupelo Police Department has charged Corey Patterson with grand larceny and making terroristic threats, and they also expect federal charges to come down as well. That's what we know so far. We'll keep an eye on this story as it develops throughout the rest of this weekend and into next week. But until then, reporting live at the Tupelo Regional Airport, I'm Ethan Foster for WTVA 9 News.
Thanks, Ethan. WTVA's Bronson Woodruff was anchoring WTVA 9 News today this morning and first shared with people locally what was going on. He now shares with us what some people saw and heard during this dramatic ordeal.
Saturday morning began with a shake for many people as they woke up to the news of a pilot threatening to crash his plane around the Tupelo area. Well, after chasing the plane across much of northern Mississippi, the pilot finally brought the plane to rest here on a field out in rural Mississippi, probably 8 minutes away from Ripley. Now, we've talked to several people about their feelings on what's happened here today, and many of them have actually said that they do feel for the pilot and for what he must have been going through to do something like this. Others have also said, quite simply, they're so happy that this did not turn out much worse than it did.
We didn't have time to react.
Okay, did you say you saw it? Was it loud?
Pretty loud.
Madden and Sam Graves were out on a Saturday morning hunt in the woods when they first heard the news.
Now, and a pilot who has indicated that he plans to crash that plane somewhere.
So we heard on the news that there was a plane circling, and it started circling around where we were dumping.
They weren't the only ones who saw and heard the plane flying low that morning.
Holy cow.
Roxanne Ward says she heard the plane go down. Its ultimate resting place would be right here, a field in a little area called Gravestown, just out of Ripley. If you're looking at the map, Ripley is down that direction. Go about 7-8 minutes this way to the west if you're looking at the GPS, and you'll come down to this road. Come down this road a little piece, and you'll come to this little dirt road. Down this dirt road, this goes out into the field where the plane crashed way out there. You can barely see it on the camera right now. They have it roped off. That's why I can't go any farther. But right down there is where they got the pilot and took him into custody. Ward shot this video of the pilot getting arrested. She says she was at her father-in-law's house when it went down.
We were aware of the plane, and so we were tracking it, and when we saw it come over, we started to take cover. That's when we heard the thud in the field. We jumped on our side-by-side to go see if we could help, and that's when we saw the pilot come out of the plane, and 2 police officers were already there waiting.
This map shows the erratic path the pilot took in the plane, all the way from Tupelo, up northwest through Blue Mountain, and then on up, landing just west of Ripley in Tippah County. This is the man they arrested, identified as 29-year-old Corey Patterson, an employee of Tupelo Airport. Ward says she heard officers say for Patterson to put his hands in the air, and he voluntarily did so.
First, we wanted to make sure that he was okay, and then we were just kind of in shock. Obviously, I feel sorry for him. I hate that it ended like it did, but I'm glad that no one was hurt.
The plane still sits in the field, and it will probably stay here for at least the next couple of days until law enforcement complete their investigation of what happened here. Reporting in Tippah County, Bronson Woodruff, WTVA 9 News.
And we wanted to point out that police say they're not sure if Patterson is in fact a licensed pilot, but they do believe he was at least had some flight experience that made it possible for him to not only possibly fuel the aircraft, but to steal it and fly it for as long as he did. And one local farmer was tracking the plane as it crossed out of the Lee County into Tippah County. But for Mike Graves, it was a bit more personal. WTVA's Alyssa Martin talked exclusively with him at his farmland where that flight came to an end.
We were dove hunting this morning, and we got a report, and we got to hearing a plane, and we got the report. By the time we saw the plane circling, so we started videoing and pulled up the app and just started following this track.
That's how Mike Graves described the start of his Saturday morning. But it quickly changed when he realized the rogue plane, which was circling the skies for hours, was actually much closer to his bean fields.
And I thought it was north of here, but come to find out it was in our bean field.
Graves has about 300 acres in the area. Corey Patterson ended his hours in the sky by landing in one of Graves's fields.
We came down here, and actually it was in the bean field, so we went around down to where the plane was, and the plane was actually still running, and my son turned it off.
Graves said he expects the bean crops did receive some damage from the landing, but he's glad it didn't end any worse.
The beans can be replaced. I'm sure their insurance companies will replace those, so that's not much bother to me.
Reporting in Tippah County, Alyssa Martin, WTVA 9 News.